Hey, Doc. Doc. I lost Doc again. I don't know where Doc went. I'm going that way. He's going to have to catch up. I can't be responsible for looking after him all the time. So, okay.
Yeah, it's just hard terrain still. Now we're just kind of meandering up this creek. The nice thing is we crossed water, except it's a wet cross, 25 times coming up here. So it's wet foot day. Trying to kind of settle in today and maybe see if I can just kind of relax through about 25 miles so a little bit closer to Big Bear. It's a little bit difficult to settle today because I'm actually running low on food. I think I have enough. I split my breakfast this morning, so half that tomorrow. Tonight I can have potatoes and beef. I have some snacks left. It's a very pretty creek. There's a lot of water in it, and it's funny, you come to a crossing and there's a little log. There's like a narrow log because there's not a lot of timber up here. There'll be a narrow log across it. You wouldn't really go across it because it's just so likely that you'll fall in the water anyway, and you've already got soaking feet, so you might as well just walk across. So that's what I've been doing. Let's see, another thing, I didn't want to do this, but it happens. I left at the last water crossing and I just couldn't go back down a mile to get it. Not get where I want to go today. I left my 1/8 inch foam pad that I use for a sit pad, and I also use as a little extra pad underneath my inflatable pad in my tent. It just keeps it from sliding around. Like that thing, but I left it behind, and that's not good. So, this is the gas I got in Palm Springs. Palm Springs is not a hiking town. You tell people what you're doing in Palm Springs and they go, why? So I had to search for 5 places to find any soap gas at all. Found this giant can of Coleman gas. And at first it didn't seem to work too well, but it seems to be coming alive now. So. That's what I got for food. So if you cross that log, feet are going to get wet anyway. So really, I think the best move, feet are already wet anyway, just walk across. Kind of refreshing anyway, as long as I don't end up with trenches. 12 o'clock noon. Lunchtime. I've been walking since 6 a.m. A couple of water stops in the shade. Still on Mission Creek. let's see. How I became a teacher, part B. I did part A. Part A was really good high school teachers, inspirational, and modeled their interest in math and science, but also English, history. Oh, an amazing world history teacher. Talked about my friends Scott and Rod. Scott started out to be an electrical engineer and was one for a long time, and then switched to teaching. That was inspirational to me. Rod was always a teacher, but then he became a leader of teachers, and he still is. I mean, he's worked in Washington, D.C. at the national level on education policy surrounding training of teachers. So he speaks all over the place. He's an amazing guy. Tremendous hiker, too. So what happened next? Part B is a little strange. You're going to find it a little strange. So when I was a postdoc in Cambridge, Massachusetts, I got a jury summons, and I went and got selected for a jury. And the jury trial was it was 20-something counts of indecent sexual assault on minors by a middle school principal in Middlesex County, Massachusetts. And that was a hard trial. It was 5 weeks of court, a week of deliberation. Ultimately, we found the guy guilty of several of the counts, not all. That's really tricky because, you have to have solid evidence, and some of the evidence was better than the other evidence. So that's where we came down. But in the course of this, we saw testimony from the principal of this school, and I think I and the other jurors just really came to see this educator as really quite an amazing person. I mean, her testimony was just without question. We believed what she said. She was clearly just a great advocate for the kids. And when the trial was all over, I and another juror, Peter, we were compelled to get in touch with her because we had toured the school as part of the jury. Really, we thought the school was falling apart. And we wanted to know if there was anything in our position, what was it really, what we could do to help. So she told us that, thank you, but not to worry. They were getting a new school and the construction was to start soon. So that was good. But that sort of brushed with the education system, particularly the education of kids in poorer neighborhoods. That was really meaningful to me. Beecher's cheddar cheese and Genoa salami, by the way. A little warm. I am going to save the rest of that for tomorrow's lunch. So that was pretty meaningful. So I lived in Watertown, Massachusetts at the time for what I did. So I volunteered to do some math tutoring. Any tutoring, but I got directed to the math person in schools in Watertown, and that was very interesting. I was helping kids with just almost no math background in math, and just very remedial stuff, but it was fun. didn't do that much of it. And at the same time, I started, I just became much more civic-minded, and I started going to city council meetings, and then I was appointed to a couple committees, commissions. I started getting involved in my community. So that's kind of all tied together. What happened next was, well, I had started thinking about teachers and teaching, for sure. So it was on my mind. What happened next was, I went and talked to our administrator of our research group at Harvard Medical School. I was just curious. I wasn't complaining, but I was just curious. And I asked, you know, why do I always seem to be the one who gets assigned the new undergraduates for writing their graduate thesis projects, or new graduate students to sort of get them rolling in their work, or sometimes even new postdocs to kind of show them the ropes of work. And the answer was, well, you're really good at that. You're a good teacher. And I think that probably pushed me over the edge. I have to be honest about this. My research at the time just wasn't really moving. I chose a really hard project, and that project still hasn't been done. So if you couple those things together, I had really started to think about switching to teaching. I was like high school kids, that age kind of really appealed to me. And so started thinking about it. And I did some research and found out that in Massachusetts you could switch careers like that and get a provisional teaching license. And so I did that. I took all the tests I needed to take, and it wasn't too difficult. Passed those, got a certification in chemistry. Hey, someone just went up the trail. And he didn't have my sit pad, that's too bad. But he said there's a lot of people coming up, so we'll see. So anyway, that's what got me going. And so I took those tests and I applied for some jobs, and I got my first job at a regional school in Massachusetts. So regional schools, so you got to understand that in Massachusetts, in a lot of eastern states, counties don't really mean very much. Cities just abut each other continuously. And so this particular school was a larger school that drew from three smaller towns. And so pretty much a mix of blue and white collar type families. And principal there I just really loved. He was a great guy, Mr. Kelly. And that was my first teaching experience. I never forget the first period that I taught, and that door went shut, and it was just me and the kids. And I had some terrific students there. And, yeah, so I'll continue that in another part. This cedar and this ponderosa pine, or it might be a Jeffrey pine, they burned way up high, but it really didn't get through the thick bark, and they're healthy trees above. Very cool. Hey, good morning. It's about 8:45. May 29th, Memorial Day. And it's what is that? Day 18 on the trail. So just kind of first sustained stretch of any sort of flat or downhill walking since yesterday morning, coming up Mission Creek. Today is to go, it's around 19 miles, kind of rolling terrain, and end up at a place called Arrastre Trail Camp. And I think it's a camp spot where can be car camping and things like that. And then it'll be an easy run tomorrow morning into Big Bear, where I can get a room and get my resupply box at the post office, and definitely pick up some snacks for the daytimes. I have run myself right down to the nut. Morning. It's about 6:30 in the morning. Day 19, 30th of May. And it was a cold night last night. Maybe upper 30s. So tells me that when it gets really cold, I'm probably gonna have to. I just have underwear and a t-shirt on underneath my quilt, but I need to be putting some other clothes on too. It's the first morning I've taken off in my puffy jacket, so we'll see how it goes here. Change in a while. So today's a town day. Much needed. Yeah, then begins a long list of things you gotta do. You know, shower, eat more, laundry, figure out a way to do laundry so you can wear the least amount of clothing pieces you have so you can wash all the others. These aren't the first Joshua trees I've seen, but like clumps of them. Pretty cool. I'm coming into, where am I coming into? Big Bear Lake. Probably a couple miles to go. It's been a kind of a cruisy 10 miles today. That's all I have to do, so I'm on the edge of this. Obviously got the desert out there. Back to the left of this picture is the mountain, Big Bear, and big lakes.